Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Robbie B, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher, Stephen Four, and Mike Haspel. What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's happening, everybody?
Wakanda forever.
Just a note, tonight's podcast will be 75% less Haspel.
Yeah, from last week, that is accurate.
Haspel holding it down on the home front like a G.
Yeah, if you want any obscure history updates on how Valentine's Day came to exist,
Yep.
go back and listen to that podcast.
Yep.
Don't be a hater.
It's pretty good.
Lupercalia is a valid holiday, and I will continue to celebrate it.
With dog hide floggings.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing, right? They should. I'm making women more fertile. That was the idea. That's the idea behind the dog hide floggings. Before I get before I get pilloried on social media, is the Luperci, who were the priests of the Lupercalia, used to take dog hides and goat hides, and they would cut them into strips, and then they would run around Palatine Hill naked in the Forum, hitting women that were either pregnant or wanted to be pregnant with these hides. And it was supposed to be an easier pregnancy / delivery or make you fertile.
It almost seems like a get out of jail free card. Like, hey, honey, I'm pregnant. Wait, what? How? Oh,
Lupercalia. What are you gonna do?
That dog hide thing,
Oh, well. And if you guys are familiar with the play Julius Caesar, Shakespeare, etc., that's what's going on at the beginning. Mark Antony is actually running around, and Caesar asks that he hit his wife because she's unable to bear children. So there's a little passing bit of culture before we delve into toy soldiers.
Haspel, did you see a movie this weekend?
I did. I saw Black Panther twice. So turns out it's like really good.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I haven't been able to do it yet.
Almost as many times as you've seen the Titanic.
No, I've seen Titanic far more times, but I have a feeling I'm probably going to go see Black Panther a couple more times in the theater. Probably not as much as 300 or Titanic.
Mm.
How many times have you seen The Last Jedi?
None.
Dang.
Wow.
Well, that has nothing to do with the reviews or anything. It was literally when I heard that JJ was doing The Force Awakens, I was done with that trilogy. Because I was like, he's going to drop so much BS into that. It's unrecoverable. And then when I heard that he was given the third movie to direct and ostensibly write, I was just like, well, there's no point in seeing the second one. Like, it's just.
I'm sorry, Haspel. I'm still stuck on the sheer number of times that you've seen Titanic and how you could say something like probably not as many times as 300 or Titanic. How those two are the ones.
The same sentence.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like Titanic. I saw it like 11 times in the theater.
Your commitment is that deep. I mean, I'm with it, Haspel.
Yeah, I really liked it. I mean, I'm a huge Titanic freak. I had read, Officer Lightollers' inquiry. I read the whole inquest where the White Star Line had to do, because there was a congressional investigation. There was all kinds of stuff that went on where they were talking about just insane stuff where they're walking along the side of the ship as it's like rolling over. It's just unbelievable. And all of it is recounted pretty accurately in a book called A Night to Remember, which Cameron drew a lot from. So Cameron's movie is actually, if you edit out all the Rose and Jack stuff, it's actually very accurate. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really
Rose
good.
and Jack weren't real?
No.
What about Billy Zane?
Billy Zane is real.
No.
What?
Nope. Neither was the dude from Tron. I can't remember his name right now. But he's an awesome actor who was the butler.
First
Billy
off,
Zane's butler, but he was Zark, Zark 7 or something. I'm confusing.
Billy Zane was in the.
I'm confusing G-Force and Battle. My brain's all over the place now.
Third most popular movie in the history of all times. The Phantom.
Really?
I saw The Phantom.
Mm-hmm. Billy Zane is also the villain. If you've not seen this movie, I highly recommend it. Nicole Kidman might be like maybe 20 years old in this movie. It's called Dead Calm. And it is about Sam Neill, who's a sailor, a naval guy from, I want to say, either in the Australian or New Zealand Navy. And he takes his wife out to sea, and they run into a survivor of a shipwreck played by Billy Zane. Hell of a thriller. Highly recommend it.
Billy Zane is also the star of Zoolander.
Truth.
I was just gonna say that.
I was being a little facetious because Billy Zane's character in The Phantom wore a purple condom, basically.
Yeah.
A purple onesie.
He did. That is a fact. All right. Somebody do some news.
Okay. Do we want to roll right into the tabletop marketplace? Because I feel like that's what we got. Coming up this weekend, we have the Black Library celebration. And there's going to be some really cool swag that they've got going on. They're releasing a 28 millimeter Eisenhorn model. That's the first time Games Workshop will have done that. They did, of course, have the 54 millimeter Eisenhorn model for the Inquisitor game that was like, oh my, I guess that was
early
10 years
2000s.
ago. Yeah, I'm old.
I have to correct you. This is the second time they've released a 28 millimeter Eisenhorn model.
Really? I didn't. Oh wow.
Yeah, they did Black Library did a diorama back when you used to get the little coupons out of the books. Yeah, and you could get get
Gaunt's Ghost. I remember that.
Yeah, Gaunt's Ghost. You could actually get Uriel Ventress fighting Hansu, the Iron Warrior.
Oh yeah.
There was the Redeemer, I think, and Cal Jericho, of course. Cal Jericho and Scabs. Yep. Not the atrocious ones that they put up on the NTO. But yeah, there's Black Library used to actually produce a line of figures. So this is cool to see them bringing it back.
Yeah, so we're going to get Eisenhorn in stores. Lucas the Trickster is going to be re-released in stores for a limited time and in limited quantities. Usually he's a web store exclusive only. There is a set of Black Library postcards, like 100 pieces of cover art going all across the history of Black Library. There's a Warhammer 40K journal. This is different than the battle journal that they released. This is actually, I think, a blank line journal, like a more traditional. And then they're re-releasing Drachenfels and Brotherhood of the Snake, or Brothers of the Snake, rather, which Brothers of the Snake is a really cool book. It's a bunch of just short stories about that particular chapter. There's some good stuff in there. One of them that I really, really like, it starts with this planet asking for help because they're being attacked. And they
I know exactly what you're going to say.
So they ask for help, and this one ship comes down, and this Space Marine gets out of it, and they're like, "Oh, hey, great, cool, we've met. Tell your chapter master or your company commander or whatever that we're going to have a huge feast set up for him and everything. We can bunk all your troops and everything." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Well, we asked for help, and you guys have showed up." And he's like, "I'm the help."
Yeah, I'm here, motherfucker.
One dude. One Space Marine.
And he just gets into Thunderhawk and pulls out the land speeder, and he's like, "All right, deuces. Oh, yeah. I need a dog. Somebody give me a dog." And he's like, "All right, I'm out."
Yeah, he's like, "I'm gonna need a dog and that guy's leg, and I'm gonna own."
Yeah, what was the name of that book?
Brothers of
the Snake.
That was the compilation. There was actually, and Haspel was talking about Inferno magazine earlier. This whole story, I believe it was Abnett wrote these. Yes, they were short stories originally in Inferno magazine, the first one in the 90s, and then he strung them all together and wrote some pieces in the middle and made it a novel, basically.
Made it awesome. A coherent narrative.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It's a really good book.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't read it, they are re-releasing it this weekend. And then we have like a Black Library Celebration paperback that has like 6 short stories from Age of Sigmar, from 40K, and the Horus Heresy. So, and apparently you get that for free when you make a purchase. But I feel like that's going to be only at Warhammer stores or GW stores. So if you are not near one, you're SOL. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure whether they're selling the Einhorn figure either, because that was supposed to be on the new release list, but then nobody got them, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I know my FLGS was taking pre-orders, but they were writing down your name on a list. So I don't know if they're actually able to get any.
Get it. Yeah.
Or if they were just being optimistic, trying to. I put my name down on it, just in case, because I would hate to miss out on that. Let's see. One of the other things, they announced a game called Mechanicus. That's a new video game coming out that has something to do with. It's going to be a turn-based tactical game. It's going to be out for PC, Mac, and Linux later this year. We really don't know a whole lot about it. It has something to do with the Adeptus Mechanicus forces. You're going to be playing a Magus, Dominus Faustinius, and we really don't know very much about it at all. They put out a little teaser trailer, and they say that you're going to be able to augment your guy and make different decisions, and the decisions you make procedurally generate forthcoming missions and stuff like that. And apparently the main background story was written by Ben Counter, who is one of their Black Library authors. So, but they said that's going to be late 2018 release. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We also have the 2 board games. Do we want to talk about that now?
Yeah, you mean the toy show, toy fair?
Yeah. So the toy fair, they released some really really just teaser information on 2 new board games that are coming out. One of them is I'm excited for. It's called Space Marine Adventures. They took some of the Space Marine Heroes sculpts from Japan that we can't get here, I guess. And they're the blind box, Space Marines that they sell in Japan. And they've released 5 of those in this game. It's going to be Space Marines against Necrons, cooperative game for 1 to 4 players. I think the target for this game is probably like 12-year-olds. It's essentially for new hobbyists, just getting people to just jump in. I think that's why they made it a cooperative game, because a cooperative game is a lot easier to get people to appreciate and love. I like them because that means you can play it alone. And the last one they put out that I thought was really, really good, I think it's a much better game than it gets credit for, is Assassinorum Execution Force. It has a really good AI on how the cultists patrol the halls and interact with you and everything like that. And I enjoy playing the game. And then it got a little bit predictable and easy to beat. So then in one of the White Dwarfs, they put out, oh, hey, instead of the Chaos Lord at the end, you can have Demon Prince. Well, good luck winning with the Demon Prince.
Yeah, at that point in time, Hasbro realized he had fucked up.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this game's not easy anymore. So I'm looking forward to that game. And then they're coming out with one called Blood Bowl Blitz, which is apparently a smaller pitch, smaller teams, and a faster playing game. And this is just me being judgmental and impatient. But when people ask, hey, do you want to play Blood Bowl? I generally say no, because it looks to be like an 1.5 to 2 hour game. I'd just rather play 40K if I'm going to dedicate that amount of time to a miniatures game. So this Blood Bowl Blitz is half an hour to 40 minutes, but it's Blood Bowl. And I'm like, hey, that sounds great. And then I immediately thought, but I'd rather play Shadespire for the same amount of time. So I don't know if they're going to get my dollars on Blood Bowl Blitz, but it sounds like it could be a fun little game to fill in, extra time in there. If you don't have time to play a full Blood Bowl game, you could just throw down, a little miniature game on that.
Hey, isn't it crazy? Rob, when was the last time that there was this many quality mini games that could be played in between basically tournament rounds at like Adepticon?
Man, I can't even remember. I mean,
Dude, like I was trying to think like what was the big game that you could like maybe fifth edition? There was maybe it was even a card-based game. Like, gosh, I can't remember. But there was a game that people love doing in between, but like nothing compared to fucking Shadespire,
yeah.
Legion.
And I like first of all, we'll come back to Shadespire real quick, but I think quick correction, Haspel, the Space Marine Adventures, I think those miniatures are based on some of the Japanese Space Marine Heroes exclusives. They're not the same exact models. I think they just slightly resculpted them, like they do similar poses, but like this is a Space Wolf now instead of an Ultramarine kind of type deal. But they're very close. Like they all are very close. So I think they just kind of tweaked them just a little bit. And yeah, you're right. It's definitely geared towards, and they even say it in their posts, like most people get started with the hobby because they're at their local game store and they see the stuff on the shelf and they just want something quick to try out. And this is what these are, So already having the pre-colored plastic, just like Shadespire, like we were talking about earlier, like if you want the dwarfs, they're all like orange. You really it literally takes longer to clip them off the sprues than
you don't need to paint them. You can just play.
Right. Yeah. And Shadespire is great. Like we were just talking about in between games, because normally you play 2 out of 3 games because they're that quick. Now I played my first like full game non-demo tonight, and it was like an hour just to like try to figure it out. Because I'm like, wait, what does this do? What does this block? This swoosh? What does the swoosh do? Is the swoosh good? Do I want the shield? Do I want the swoosh?
Yeah. But once you get it down, you'll be able to play it in 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I love about that. As far as mini games go, we don't have dates on those. I would imagine those are going to be solicited for later this year, kind of like we saw with the Battle of Vedros. But I think this is going to be non-mass market, meaning that they're not just going to market it towards like model stores and stuff like that. Like it's going to be available through trade sales. As a matter of fact, I've heard that GW is moving some of its sales reps over to a special toy department here in the States. So they're definitely going to be marketing a lot more towards different channels, sales channels. So it's cool to see, GW making moves on all different fronts because they need to. A year and a half ago, we were like, GW needs to change what they're doing or we're all going to be in big trouble. And now it's GW's changing everything they're doing. This is great. So I love it. It's a very exciting time for the hobby, especially with all these mini games coming out, new Shadespires. Not just that. I mean, Necromunda, this has been, think about it. What has been the last couple of releases? We've seen all in the past month. We've seen Necromunda, Shadespire, Age of Sigmar campaign book, Age of Sigmar releases, like, 2 Age of Sigmar battle tomes, as a matter of fact, 3 since the start of the year. So this is an exciting time for GW release wise. They can just kind of slot things into here and there. It's crazy. So coming out next week are the Crazy Snake People, the Daughters of Cain. Now this looks to be a multi-week release for Age of Sigmar, because first off is going to be Marathi, and she's $130. Same price as Alariel, same price as all of the Greater Demon Sands, the Great Unclean One, and of course, Scarbrand is, I think, $140, I believe. But other than that, everything else is coming out for the Daughters of Cain Sans their battle tome are repacks. So you got the Witch Elves coming out for $60. The Doomfire Warlocks, those are the crazy horse rider peeps that you can make 2 different ways. Dark Riders, or I don't know. I don't even know what the other unit does, but they look crazy. Those are $35. The Cauldron of Blood repack for $75. By repack, it probably just means, hey, we come to round bases now. Or the ovals in the case of the horses. Battle Tome, Daughters of Cain for $40. The War Scroll cards for $25. Daughters of Cain are getting their own dice Aswell, did you get the Custode dice?
Of course.
What'd you think? Did they roll well?
I haven't opened the box to roll them. I haven't had time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Oh
dude.
wow! What do the Custode dice look like?
They're gold.
They're gold.
All right, give me a little more than that. I guess I could just look them up. But like, are we like Roman numerals on it? Or
no, they're pips. And then on the 6, there's the Custodes symbol, and on the other side, there's a skull.
Yeah, so like the one, well, you could use them either or, I suppose. The skull could be the 6, but why would you do that? But yeah, the Custodes symbol's like the Inquisition eye with like a crazy kind of eagle with lightning shooting out of it on both sides. Pretty neat.
Wow, I'm with this. I might need some of these.
They're kind of getting hard to find from what I heard. I think they're $20 for 20. I want to say
is that how many dice come in those things? 20?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah. I'm opening my box right now.
And they're flat packed. They're like it kind of almost looks like a premium pack of, or like a flatter pack of cigarettes, like with the flip top, and you kind of can just pull them out. You don't see all the dice that come in it. They just show you like 6, but there's 20.
Yeah, it comes with 20. I can confirm that. I just opened it up.
So that's sick. Why did they? I wonder why they changed up their dice business module. Versus the square 4 dice on top of each other and the clear plastic see-through. I'm down. I haven't liked really any of the other dice that have come out except the Nurgle. Nurgle ones, or is it
with the bubbles?
Yes, that had all the little pus bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
They're hard as hell to read, but gosh, they were cool as can be. And it sounds like, I can't wait to see it with my own eyes, but it sounds like I can get behind these Custodes dice too.
I think they're pretty fresh looking. I'm not sure how they roll. But yeah, so
I practice rolling 6s all the time. So I'll literally, with the appropriate amount of training, I will just roll 6s with these as well.
With your mind, you're rolling 6s right now.
The Death Guard dice are, they're fucking cool, but man, they're awful. Don't use them.
Yeah, they're very, very hard to read. I felt recently I played a game where my opponent was using that, and I felt like he was just saying whatever he wanted it to be. I know he wasn't doing that, but I could not read what the numbers were. So it was just kind of like, okay, I'll just take your word for it.
No doubt. Yeah, everyone I know who plays with the Death Guard dice, they typically just use them to track their command points.
Yeah, that makes more sense. So the Daughters of Cain will have a similar dice pack for $20, probably 20 to come in it. Then we've got an audiobook. No audiobook. There's 3 paperbacks: Ashes of Prospero, Spear of Shadow, and Cadia Stands paperbacks, all $16 coming out this week. And right meow on sale today over at creaturecaster.com is the new Lord of Malice, aka Bettercore. Swellacor. I like Bettercore. Definitely inspired by the original, much tinier original.
Yeah, Be'lakor is small for a Demon Prince just by today's standards.
Yeah, he's small compared to a Space Marine. Like,
he's almost a Primaris.
Yeah, he's very tiny.
He's tiny.
Yep, they need a resculpt on that. But
it's crazy that they still keep coming out rules. It would be like I have my old Screama Carnifex, the Screaming Claw Carnifex, versus the new shit.
Like if that dude was old One Eye.
Yeah. And they just decide not to make a new model for him.
Yeah, savage. He definitely needed an update. So that's for sale right now over on creaturecaster.com, $62 EUS. And I think there's some bundles and some free shipping deals, but I cannot tell you what they are. And of course, Legion will be out. Star Wars Legion will be out the 22nd. It's the big release weekend. If you're want to get in on that new FFG game, but some stores will have demo copies on the 8th. So that's only about 2 weeks away. So if your store is going to get one of those, check with them for some demo play and a look at the mechanics and the releases that are coming out for those, because the models are pretty neat. It's definitely that whole hobby aspect. You can definitely see. You can hobby on everything, even the little sticks, even the the range ruler, everything in there you can paint up and play with. It's a super fun kind of kit to check out.
What kit?
The Legion, Star Wars.
So
Legion.
you guys painted those little movement sticks?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
Yep, all the maneuver templates, the range rulers, the little terrain.
Damn, I didn't realize that. That's cool as hell, man.
Dude, like those range sticks look so fresh, and knowing where like, oh, this is range 1, 2, 3, you know, and it's got the little red clips that they painted. Again, my one problem with that game is it is not coming pre-painted. I know it appeals to a whole nother market and opens up to a whole new set of people that are going to want to buy it. But I want my models to look just like how they do on the big screen. And I know my stupid ass painting skills will never allow that, you know.
I mean, we've done some tutorials. We put out the Stormtroopers. We put out how to paint rebels for beginners to get you kind of like, hey, this is how you parameter stuff. This is a quick, hit it with a couple of details, hit it with the Army Painter wash system. And in like 6 steps, you're up and going. You can keep going. You can paint eyes. You can do all those things. But for the time, just to get them on the table and get playing, you kind of don't have to. But there's the hobbyists in all of us that will just crack out to be like, all right, well, I want my Stormtroopers to be all weathered. They're in the desert. They got to have squad markings, all that stuff. And it's the same thing as the Warhammer hobby. Like, you can get into it as much as you want at that point. But I think it's definitely one to watch out for. Mark it on your calendars. Even if you're not playing it, you may see it on the tabletops here in the near future.
Sounds like a classic case of crack.
Yes, but you don't have to buy the squads to get the cards inside, because every squad, every expansion comes with the same stuff. And there is Force Org, which is good too. You've got,
I heard that I'm going to be playing as many bikes as possible.
You can play 3 squads. It's very similar to 40K in the Force Org.
Those guys are the truth.
Juice. Get ready for my Custody style bike list in Legions.
Legions, dude. So I love it. So obviously when I played, you have the option. I need to know right now, team Darth Vader, team Luke Skywalker. You guys know without a doubt, motherfucker, give me shitty Luke Skywalker before he realizes how badass he is. Like, not even like upgraded Luke. Like, we're talking New Hope Luke. Had to have him. And so I'm like, oh, I'm running around doing shit. And I got this little was it ATST?
ATRT.
Oh, ATRT. So a little chicken walker. And at first it's like, oh, this guy seems a little overpowered. I can chill back here, do my little thing. And then these bikes rolled up on me. These bikes that shoot all the dice. They have all the different powered dice, I mean, it's unbelievable. They move 1 billion inches. They have pistols that are even more powerful than, dude, yes. Bikes, we have come to find out in all universes, are amazing. 40K, Star Wars.
And I'm trying to envision these. These were Rebel bikes or Imperial bikes?
No, these were the speeder bikes.
Okay.
We ran a ton of tournaments, or not tournaments, demos over last weekend. And I think every single demo pretty much went the same way. Like, Vader and Luke ended up in the middle of the table swinging on each other. The speeder bikes would try to take out Luke, either overshoot and get tied up with the ATRT, or Luke, they would get too close to Luke, and whoever was flying them didn't see Return of the Jedi and what Luke does to speeder bikes.
I wish they made that mistake.
So he'll slice them down like in 2 seconds, and then everybody else just kind of runs around and whatever. You leave some squads and it's fun. That's pretty much every demo.
Or you can go to the Long War YouTube channel and see our demo where them bikes did some.
Yo.
Yeah, they did some weird stuff, but it was cool to see.
No, what an absolute fun, amazing game. I can 100% endorse this. I enjoy this. Can you remember the first time me and you played X-Wing?
Yes, sir.
Dude, it was, I don't know if you can get behind me or not with this like statement, but like if I have an option to pick up a video game and I'm going to play a video game where I'm in a aircraft, spaceship, anything else doing maneuvers and shit, or if I'm like running around on the ground, picking up rocks, hiding, shooting, doing all that, like I'm that guy all day. I'm not trying to be high up in the air, And so I 100% gravitated to this and got more hyped than when you and I figured out that we could barrel roll.
Yeah.
Playing.
Like, let me move these guys. Action barrel roll.
Yep. Come to find out, I am always barrel rolling. But Kenny, you just need to go forward. No, it's fine. Doesn't matter. I will barrel roll twice as long.
Yeah, I'm a barrel.
Ultimately, go in a straight line.
I promise you, this is going to work one time. Spoiler, it did not.
Ever.
But that was Legion's pretty sick. So first thoughts on Legion, I think we all can agree it's pretty awesome. Fantasy Flight Games makes amazing games. Every game system they've made is fucking a hit. Box office smash. Looks like Legions is doing the same thing. They're using that strong hand IP to get people who might not necessarily be into miniatures. They made that decision to make you have to, paint your own models. And I think this is the IP because it kind of seemed like Rune Wars. They were trying to do that Rune Wars, but
Well, the models are better quality than
Rune Wars suffered from two things. The models were not that tight. And secondly, it wasn't the strong arm IP that is Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like more people have heard of Star Wars than Rune Wars.
Or I think RuneScape. It's literally going to be, the new hit, the new smash hit.
Yeah, there was never playing that game, test playing at that game. There was never oh shit, yeah, I'll be Luke Skywalker, and the rest of my force, or yep, I'm Darth Vader, and I got some cool ass bikes. Like, no, I mean pretty much anything. You know what the one thing that I will, and then I guess maybe we can be done with it, but I love the fact that they could just basically ride the coattails of such an amazing movie and just put out trash and people would still probably buy into it. But like, I give them all the credit in the world for like actually writing, these games in that would instantly sell themselves, but give us amazing, solid rule sets that we can get behind, Kudos.
Well, I mean, you notice they put out Legions and it's Luke Skywalker and Vader. Like they know what the people want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not silly about it. And
for all you Vader haters out there,
we'll blow your
planet up.
We will blow your fucking planet up.
And by the way, also from the demo, every single time Vader hit a squad of rebels, it was the last scene of Rogue One, where he just like destroys them all.
Yeah, or the opening scene to New Hope.
And to answer some questions, this game system is a 28 millimeter. I would say a soft 28 millimeter.
So 28 millimeter true scale, like Lord of the Rings, maybe.
Well, so like your Stormtrooper is as big as a normal Marine, and like Vader's as big as a Primaris Marine, to give you a set of scale.
Are you serious? That's not what it looks like in your hands.
My hands are ridiculously enormous.
That makes sense.
I feel like what I want to do is like, remember in the old, well, I don't know, you guys may not remember, Rob might remember, but in the old days, like G.I. Joe used to take on stormtroopers all day. Like that was a thing. So I have a feeling like the Imperium might show the Empire who's boss in a couple of games. Like your Emperor is false. And then,
our Emperor knows mind kung fu. Dog, please, it's 40K.
Yeah, everyone it's 40K. Everybody knows mind kung fu. Vader, you're just a chump psyker with a power sword. Like you're going down, punk.
AP 3 damage, and you have smite. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Sorry, bruh. Yeah, okay, you have a 6 Feel No Pain for Bionics. Pretty solid. So let's take a commercial break real quick, and then when we come back, let's talk about Adepticon news.
Veterans, I've got news for you. Get your best deals online at dicehead.com. Long War Vets, call or email for your best vet deals. That's dicehead.com.
Dear veterans, quickly, make your way to thelongwar.net and find out how to reap your hard-earned spoils of this long war. For our allies at secretweaponsminiatures.com have rewarded us all with an extra 10% discount on all Secret Weapon Miniatures merchandise. So stock up, dear veterans, and enjoy.
elricshobbies.com is your exclusive portal to upgrading your hobby. When you sign up at thelongwar.net, you gain an instant promotional discount good for 10% off at Elric's Hobbies. elricshobbies.com.
And we're back. Less than or slightly more than a month away. I can't do math, Rob.
How
many
less
days?
than or equal to?
If then this.
This?
Adepticon, March 22nd.
Yep.
We'll go with that.
We'll go with that.
March 22nd, Thursday.
So hope you guys have your tickets. I heard that they had opened back up hotels. Like they found a block of hotel rooms, but I probably sold out in 6 seconds. So Adepticon, get your planes booked right now. Get all your vacation time lined up. It is happening. The Long War is going to be there. We're going to have a booth. We're going to have a Long War and Slow Fuse Gaming scavenger hunt that starts with a beer cart and ends with a VIP lounge, VIP access. If we're not at maximum capacity, you're going to have to see Juice, who's going to be the security guard, aka bouncer. We are going to be running the Long War Doubles event, which is 160 people as of right now with a wait list. So if you're on that wait list, you're going to want to see us. Come down there when the event starts and we'll let you know. This is important. Haspel, what time is pre-reg?
10 p.m. on Thursday night. And obviously we'll be also pre-registering or registering on Friday, but it would really help us out if you're there on Thursday night, if you can swing by and pre-reg.
Yes. So that was the polite way. Literally, if your ass is in the building on Thursday, please, for the love of everything that is holy, understand that we have 160 names. Think about this, 160 names. There's probably 5 events larger than that in the country at 160 people. So please make sure you register early if possible.
No, that's a big deal. Obviously, other things that are going to be going on that weekend are not limited to the scavenger hunt or the Long War Doubles, but there will be a live stream from the booth. There will be a painting stream courtesy of Jason Craze and Slow Fuse Gaming. There will be moments where people can get on that stream, maybe even be guests, maybe even be in the background in the VIP lounge. I don't know. We will probably be doing some version of mobile Twitch streaming from the event. Nothing crazy. We're not going to be covering the games like Warhammer TV will be doing. We don't really see a point when Warhammer TV is going to be covering games. You guys will have an ability to see cool ass games, probably Shadespire games too. Haspel, were they filming Shadespire games at LVO?
Yes, they were, because it was a grand clash, and that is the same thing that's going on at Adepticon, is a grand clash. Nice. So I have a feeling they will probably not stream all the games, but they will probably stream the final rounds. So like the last game, best two out of 3. They will probably stream that, is my guess.
So you heard it here first. Haspel will be in the final.
No, don't say that. You're going to jinx me. You did that at LVO. You were like, oh, he's going to win. And I was like, and my dice were like, oh, Kenny said you were going to win. Here's ones. And I was like, dude, you don't even have numbers on you. How are you rolling ones? It was that bad.
You heard it here first. Haspel drops out after the first round.
Yeah, then he straight jinxed me on that.
I take full responsibility for Haspel not winning LVO.
Finally, good. Thank you for owning up to that.
Yeah, let's talk about the real issues.
Well, what is super exciting about that is that even though there was a grand clash and Stormcast Eternals won that one, guy got really lucky, rolled a lot of crits, but he had a solid deck also. I don't want to take that away from him. But the entire meta has changed because of the Skaven and the dwarves that have come out. And I was talking before we went on that my orcs were kind of dead to me. After my losses at LVO and a couple of losses in some local places, my orcs were really dice dependent. And my dice just weren't coming through. I was getting the best combos and everything like that. And then I wasn't rolling the dice combinations I needed to. So it got really frustrating. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna junk the orcs. I'm gonna move to a different warband. And then the dwarves and the Skaven came out. I'm like, oh, I dig dwarves. I'm gonna do that. I don't really, the minis don't really speak to me. I'm gonna have to do some kind of green stuff or something with them. But I like their play style. And I was like, okay, they're kind of like dwarves meet Stormcast Eternals, kind of halfway through and everything. Let me check these out. Then I started looking at the universal cards and I was like, whoa, I was right back into my orcs. like immediately new blood. I'm like, oh, all these other cards are dead to me. It's not the faction that's dead to me. It was these cards. So all the new cards just reinvigorated my orcs.
So you're going to be playing some orcs at Adepticon?
Don't know yet. I honestly don't. I haven't been able to play dwarves yet. So I've built a deck, I've schemed, but they haven't gone against anybody on the tabletop yet. I was too busy on Monday. That's our normal Shadespire night, and I couldn't go. I had to work. So I was just like, oh well. It was kind of sad. But I'm looking forward to that. The Skaven, I've been hearing great things about the Skaven. They're tricksy as they're supposed to be and kind of brutal. So I'm going to try to get as many games in as I can between now and Adepticon, and I'll probably make the decision when I'm in Chicago teaching Dave how to play Shadespire. That's honestly the way it'll probably go.
Dave Tishnai is going to win the Shadespire tournament at Adepticon.
Yeah, I feel like I can probably rope him into playing it.
Fake news.
Rob, I heard there was something new in the FAQ.
Yeah, we got a surprise T-Sons FAQ here today, which was kind of cool to see. Did they put it out in the middle of the week, which probably means they have something, a ginormous planned for Sunday. Actually, probably not. It's probably just wave 2 of the new Snake Peoples, aka Daughters of Cain previews that were coming out. It's just a 1-page FAQ, but there was some decent stuff. I mean, the things I liked in it was that they clarified that you can replace the Smite psychic power with something else when using the Chaos Familiar stratagem. And remember, all the Chaos books have that, the Death Guard and the normal Chaos one. So if you want to swap out Smite, feel like, I don't need Smite. Well, now you can trade that out and get, I don't know, I guess if you have access to a Death Hex or, maybe Warp Time if you really want it, or something else equally devious.
That's, again, a different mechanic that we haven't seen yet. For anybody being able to swap out their basic, Primus power like that. That's pretty powerful, actually.
I think we saw a bit of a precedent to that back in 7th edition. Remember how if you on the perils chart you could lose the psychic power?
Oh, that's true.
Don't forget that force was considered a psychic power. Every psyker knew force, which is how they activated their force weapon to do instant death.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Smite. Like every psyker has it, right? So every psyker had it, and technically you could lose it.
Yeah.
So we have seen a bit of a precedent, but I do think.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But we've never been able to say, is what this FAQ is saying that they could take Smite and say, I don't want Smite. I will literally just take that for another power on a tree.
They want so they can have 3 powers.
You have access to it. Yeah.
Wow.
They can say you have Warp Time, Death Hex, and blah, and Weaver of Fates.
Wow.
Even, saying so you can have 3 good ones. You pay a command point, swap one out. Now they're saying you can swap out Smite.
But there's units in here that have access to 3 different trees. I think it's the only ones that have Thousand Sun keyword and Demon keyword. Like, so, Magnus, I think the Demon Prince, and there's like 1 or 2 other ones I forget exactly. But
yeah, that's good. Is it ever worth a command point? Probably not.
Yeah, but remember, this kind of sets a precedent to the Death Guard and the normal. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter for normal.
I mean, basically, the only time it really matters is like if this is the only time it's ever mattered for me. I've used this command point when I didn't think I would need Death Hex, and then I did need Death Hex. That's when it's mattered. Like I'm on turn 2, and I'm like, fuck, I need Death Hex. I didn't think I would. I'm in a situation right now. If I Death Hex, it'd be really sweet. Oh wait, command point. I do have Death Hex.
Well, I imagine you're going to see a lot more Death Hex with Custodes on the table.
Oh yeah.
Well, let me get through that. Let me get through that 3-0. What's up?
Turn off that invulnerable save, homie.
Yeah, for real. So that was kind of cool to see. They did adjust the what was it? The bolted change from a warp charge value of 9 to 8. We had a local league here, and I think for the first couple of rounds I played demons, and they were Tzeentch. And every time I tried to do bullet change, it was very rare I got it off. I think the 8 will definitely help in some cases. I don't think it's a game breaker. What do you guys think?
Even 8's a big deal though to get off. Like that's Death Hex is an 8, and it's like I only reliably get that off of Magnus.
The pluses.
Yeah. An 8 from a 9 is actually really tough though. Like 9 is. Ugh.
9 is dumb. That's just because that's Tzeentch's number. They thought they were being cute.
Yeah,
it's like okay, let's.
When using your number, it goes wrong because.
Oh, it's brutal. But yeah, so I mean, so far, haven't heard a lot of people talking about Thousand Suns, like what their hot new tech is. There's definitely some combos in that book that I like, but I think it got massively overshadowed by bikes.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, there's definitely some play with the Zangors doing an assaulty kind of build. But there seem to be almost more detractions than pluses, when they did some work on the horrors. But that tech you were talking about with doing the splits where you bring in, if you lose a pink, you bring in the blue, and then you take all the damage on the blue until the blue's dead. And then, oh, hey, here's my
Well, it's 2 blues for 1 pink. So it's awesome. Right, yeah. It's like, yeah, it's pretty. So that way you keep your core scanning warp flame number, the Assault 3 version, you keep that for longer. Right.
Yeah, I think one reason potentially Thousand Suns aren't getting a lot of love right now maybe is because to play Thousand Suns you're gonna have to buy new models, and it's not just shit that's laying around. Like again, the Zangors are definitely one of the shining units in that army. The new Terminators with their ability to have pluses to saves, and does Rubric Marines have that also?
I don't think so.
I mean, I've heard some people talk. I mean, it's honestly just lackluster, and it's quickly turned into like, all right, what are the 3 units I like? Those are the ones I'm taking, right? But that's what I like about Chaos in general.
Yeah,
there's no reason that not to do that. Like it's, not everything's going to be a winner in the context of competitive play, but in the context of playing Thousand Suns, this is pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to have some fun and play some Thousand Suns with your buddies, man. You're going to do a lot better than you would have last edition.
They did port over some of the fantasy stuff. And by the way, if you need Zangors, like that Battle Force box that came out at Christmas time is a good pickup, because you can get a ton of Zangors in there. The Enlighteds, which are like the Zangors on disc and stuff, and it comes with a Zangor Shaman in it too. So
that Tzeentch Start Collecting box had like 6 of the Skyweaver things.
Yeah, the big one.
It's AOS, right? But
it's AOS, but you can port it over. And then I heard that the Mutalith Beast that they ported over, I've sold out on GW already, and they're going for like $90 on eBay. But those actually are decent, but I think you need multiples to kind of put in your list and anchor the line for their abilities. But I think they're 150 points. They don't seem bad for 150 points. A 14 wound, toughness 7 model that can do crazy, Death Blossom, mortal wound attacks if you game it. Seems okay.
What are we talking about?
It's called the Mutalith Vortex Beast. I'm pretty sure it was 150. Let me double check. So it's 150, and its claws and other thing are free. So it's 150. So it's 14 wounds, toughness 7, has a 5-up invul, whatever. It's got decent close combat attacks. It will have roughly 12 attacks at strength 7, neg 1 AP, 1 damage if you swing with its maw, or you can just swing with its claws that are 4 attacks at neg 2 AP, 2 damage. But the big thing is that it has this chart you can roll on. And D6 roll 1, each enemy unit within 9 inches immediately takes a mortal wound. So that's each unit. But you can activate this. You can just pick it and it does it, or you can activate it and it'll do a random one. So there's a 1 in 6 chance that you'll get that again. But there's ways to game it to where you can get it to like a 50% chance to roll that twice. But if you have 2 of them, now you're down to basically like a 25% chance to do it, or the 75% chance to get to Death Blossom like 3 to 4 mortal wounds out. So it could see if everything lines up correctly, doing 3 mortal wounds within 9 inches to every squad could be a thing. But what are the chances of that? And it's definitely not an every turn thing.
Seems like a giant spawn for Tzeentch.
Yeah, you could, but it does other stuff too. It's not bad to anchor your line if you have a bunch of dudes rolling up, but it is 150 points. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, obviously you probably would have seen it by now at like LVO and stuff if it was, super highly competitive, but in certain play circles, this thing is, you're like scratch your head like, oh crap, how do I kill this thing?
Yeah, it's also, I will say, tough to use some units and lists that don't make it into the top 8 at LVO where there's 500 people. Like, just because it didn't make it into the top 8 doesn't mean that it's not, solid.
Yep.
Also, we look at the people, we always say this all the time, like Kenny's been saying it for forever, is like, we can look at the army list, absolutely, but pretty much the top 8 and top 16 are it's 70% of the time the same players. They're just playing the best shit. If these same players decided to play something else, I still say they make top 8, top 16.
100% agree. It's the god tier of the competitive, codexes, right? Like you're saying, okay, based on just math, these are the best codexes, but those guys would be capable of top 8ing any codex. So yeah, it's almost like you need to exclude them and look at the rest of the tournament to decide what you think will work. Because, if you're going to a big tournament and you're saying, I'm going to win this tournament, you're probably not. Like, mathematically speaking, unless you're one of those top 8 people. They're going to one of these 100, 200, 300 person tournaments. But otherwise, just win some games, man.
Yeah, if I'm looking at and I'm really trying to judge what I think did well as a book or as lists overall, I'm basically going to look at literally like obviously the top 10 or whatever else, but like literally top, from 20 to 120, whoever ranked there, and give me the statistics on what armies were played, what style of lists were they, this and this, and then I would say, yep, that's good. But
100%. Look at win records. I'll be like, all right, who won more games than they lost?
Yeah. Who went 4-1-1?
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Exactly. One last thing from me, at least, is this weekend I've got a tournament here in Hollywood, Next Gen Games and Comics. It's my local store that I go to, and play my 1,500 point games. It's got a painting requirement, 3-color minimum, 1,500 points. There is restrictions on certain detachments. If you're local to Southern California, you should definitely think about coming by on the 24th, hanging out, signing up. They've been selling out 20-man events for months now, and there's a bar next door, so you know where to find me.
That's sick. That's actually, I think there's a big gaming weekend for almost everybody. I think Haspel's running one this weekend, and then I will also be attending some Adepticon prep in the Spring Lake area. Hive Fleet Lexus is going to be in full effect with pretty much my Adepticon list, except they do have a restriction at this event to say that there's only one Forge World unit allowed.
Which is actually like the old Adepticon.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool. So 0 to 1 with that. Pretty much everything else, and it's kind of ITC run. So I think they're using it as an ITC tournament. So but yep, Hive Fleet Lexus will get its first shot at an ITC tournament. I am going to be playing NIDS throughout the entire year for every event that ITC is being run at. So I am going to make a push to try to get in the top.
Nice. Yeah, the tourney I'm running is on 3 March, actually. And it's
oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's a ways away, and it's essentially another play test for Adepticon to hold down everything. We're going to just we're not doing a doubles tourney for that one. We're going to do it's going to be a singles tourney and only 1,500 points, but the same missions as Adepticon. Also, if you're in the Colorado area, there is a GT event in Westminster. Our buddy Justin Kempel's running it, and I apologize right now. I did not have it queued up for what day it is, but it is in April. So it is a little ways off, so you still have time, but I know tickets were selling fast for that as well. So you need to check it out. I know he had it on Facebook and everything. And I apologize for not having that information locked down. That's my bad.
There is the internet. I feel like a couple of Google searches.
Yeah.
Figure it out. I'm done talking. I'm going to end my personal transmission here.
Haspel, take us out.
No good will come of this. Trust me, Major. Evil knows evil.